Hello, it's me, Daryl, Florida Catholic guy, enjoying a cigar out at the fire. If you remember way back, the last time I tried to have a fire, the logs were wet, and haven't had one since then. But now, I have 2 new logs, and the 2 old logs are actually burning. So I got a good fire going now. And got my cigar. No rum though. Trying to be good for Lent. Like this. So yeah, I had my evaluation yesterday. Started off as a cluster, but it worked out. The link they gave me, they send us a letter. You have to open a file in the email, and there's a letter there, and there's a link in the letter to go to your meeting. So I did what I was supposed to do. I filled it out and went to sign on, and it wouldn't recognize me. And I couldn't sign in. They said they would email me a code so I could sign on. Never got the code. Luckily, there was a number to call. And the lady told me that I had to go get the email from, I don't know what the guy's name was, but because there was another link that I had to follow. Well, problem is I sent that one to the trash. So luckily she was able to tell me who it was that sent the email and what day it was. So luckily it wasn't permanently deleted. So I was able to get the email and get the link and get into the meeting. I finally got the passcode about 10 o'clock last night, and a lot of good that did. So anyway, talked to a doctor and went through all my symptoms and issues and everything, and really in depth, which was good. And my mom actually talked to the doctor, and she verified the stuff that I was saying and added on some more. And I like that. Feeling the heat now, that's good. So anyway, I won't know anything until they send me the note, the letter, either whatever they decide. So that'll probably take, who knows, 2 weeks to 2 months to 2 years. It won't be 2 years, but so should be interesting to see what happens. Look at that. I haven't had a good fire like this in a long time. Pretty warm night. You can see the sun is set, but there's still light at 8 o'clock at night. Of course, as you know, we set the clocks ahead yesterday, or this morning, I should say. And so that's been what's going on. Like I said, I think the appointment went as well as could be expected, and the doctor, she was actually from California. I don't know if she was from California, but she's living in California. It must be the eastern part of the state, because she was in the mountain time zone, because she had a big clock in the back of her that could see the time, and it was 2 hours behind me. So she helped me out. Like, we talked about drinking, and I made the mistake of saying I just drink socially, and she said, when you say socially, that makes it sound like you're going out with other people and drinking. And she said, is that what you're doing? And I'm like, no, I drink at home usually. And she said, you drink alone? I says, yeah. All I could think of is the George Thorogood song, I Drink Alone. I'll spare you of my singing. Plus, if I sing it, I'll probably get a copyright strike against me. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, my cigar that I'm smoking, it's Ave Maria. And it's funny. This is the brand, of course, that my priest gets for us at our men's club meeting. And on the box it has of course, Ave Maria is Hail Mary. So it's got the Hail Mary prayer in Latin on the box. So, of course, a priest is going to buy that. But, it's a good stick. I like it. The ones that my priest have are a little different. But, actually, he might have some of these. The ones I had Thursday were different, because they have like a, I don't know, like a cone shape as a tip, which is alright, but you gotta cut more of the tip off than you do in a regular cigar like this, which is no big deal. Yeah, it's a good night. I think it was like 70 when I went out. There's a nice little bit of a breeze, not bad. Hopefully pretty soon I'll be getting my screen room. Basically, when I talk to the guy, they're waiting for the county permit. So that should be coming any time. And, yeah. One thing they got all over the place here is snails. It was all over my chair and everything. So I had to come out and wipe it down. So I'm thinking of going out on my motorcycle. Not tonight, obviously, but sometime this week. That rain we were supposed to get on, what was it, Wednesday or Thursday or something. I guess there's still a chance, but it's only like a 20% chance. So, still going to be warm and dry. Humidity will be ticking up a little bit, but, getting toward the middle of March. You can still get some cool weather, but mostly it'll be on the upswing from here. I was hoping to get the screen room up before the really hot weather gets here. Although we are going to have a ceiling fan in there, so that'll be nice. I don't know, I think we might be 2 ceiling fans. So that'll help move the air around. Probably end up having more fires because I'll be able to sit in the screen room and watch the fire from there. So I did go to church today. First time in about 3 weeks. So that was good. That helped me out a lot. So, yeah, I gotta trust in the Lord. He knows what I need. I went to Simmons Park today. Didn't do any video or pictures or anything. Just walked around. I should take my dog up there sometime. That would be a good place for him to walk around. I should have taken him today. It's been a few days since he's been out, so I have to get him out tomorrow. Even if it's just a walk around the neighborhood like usual. He needs to get his exercise too. I've been doing my daily scooter ride. Still looking for alligators, haven't seen any. I thought I saw one yesterday. Up where they're doing the construction where I live. There's a huge retention pond. And there was something that looked like it could have been an alligator that was floating around in the pond, but I never was able to figure out what it was, although I know it wasn't an alligator, so I think it might have been just like a log floating around or something, I don't know. But, yeah, beautiful night. It's getting dark. Stars are out. My neighbor's dog, that's not mine. So there was an interesting video I was watching. Self-defense case. I don't know how recent it was, but I think it was down here in Florida. I'm not sure. But a woman was home alone with her kid. I mean, obviously she wasn't alone if she was with her kid, but it was just her and her kid. I guess it was a young kid. Some naked lady was trying to come in the house. I guess she broke a window, and so the lady got her, called 911, then got her gun and barricaded herself. I imagine her brought her kid somewhere with her. So she got her gun, barricaded herself, and took up a defensive position with view to the front door. And this naked lady broke out the window of the door trying to get in. So she made the decision that she wouldn't fire her weapon unless she actually got in the house. And before that happened, cops came and they took her into custody. But the guy that was reviewing this, I think it's Tampa Carey on YouTube, he said you got to ask. We're discussing whether it was would have been, if she had to, a lawful use of her weapon. And so you got to ask the big questions. And the first one is, what could she have done to avoid the situation? Well, probably nothing. I mean, she's in her house, so somebody's trying to break in. That's nothing she can do. And was her life in danger? I think it was. I mean, she's breaking down a door. You don't know what she's on or what she has, or So yeah. And is it a forcible felony? Well, breaking down the door to somebody's house to gain entry illegally is a forcible felony. So all the criteria is there. So if she had to, she could have used her firearm. That naked lady can be lucky that cops got there before she got in. Wouldn't have turned out as good for her. But I mean, that's the type of thing that, we got windows here, but there's no glass on the door or anything. And in fact, these doors that we have here are hurricane rated and everything, so I mean, if somebody really wanted to get in, I'm sure they could, but first of all, you'd hear them, so I'd have gun in hand. So yeah, it was an interesting situation. And of course, well, I think the castle doctrine, I think that's pretty much in all states. But of course, Florida, we also have the stand your ground, where you don't have to retreat. Some states, like where I was in Maine, was a duty to retreat state. Which basically means that if somebody's doing something or something, you're supposed to try to run away first. Where here, I mean, you still gotta meet all the criteria to be able to use lethal force. But you don't have to retreat. So you got a little more protection. So it's starting to get a little chilly now, but not bad. I think my cigar is helping keep the skeeters away. Yeah, it looks like there's a crispy frog in my fireplace. I saw him jumping around, and well, he's not jumping anymore. There's no way I could get him out, because the only way I can get him out is by lifting the top of that thing off, and with the fire coming out of there. Somewhere I have a poker, but I don't know where that is, that I could have probably tried to lift it off, but by the time I got in the house and tried to find it, he would have been dead. So the frog croaked. I feel bad for, because probably not a fun way to go, but it's these Cuban tree frogs, and they're an invasive species, so you're supposed to kill them anyway. So one down, thousands, millions to go. Although you're supposed to kill them in a humane way. But it's not my fault he went in the fire pit. I don't even know how he got in there, tell you the truth. Crispy critters. Fried frog legs. But yeah, stars are beautiful. There's even just a little bit of twilight left. $8:20. I like it. Sunset's right around, I don't know, 7:35, something like that. 20 of 8. I like having the daylight in the evening, because I sleep in the morning anyway, so except for Sundays when I go to Mass. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Wow. And no, I haven't been drinking. I want to get a couple of palm trees for the backyard. Problem is, I didn't realize it, but palm trees are expensive. So maybe when I get the stimulus money, that's something I can do. Get stimulated. But I do want to get a GoPro, like I said, or a reasonable facsimile. Yeah, I want something that I can start moto vlogging. Yeah, I was talking about with my mom about suicide and stuff like that. It says there's 3 things that stops me. First is my mom, because she needs me. Second is my dog, because he needs me. And third is I haven't figured out a way to do it that I don't go to hell on. Now, I'm not saying that everybody that commits suicide goes to hell, but that is the most likely destination for people that do it. In fact, at one of our men's club meetings, we had a discussion about that and how the church never used to give funeral masses for people that commit suicide, and now they do. And you know, the reason they say they don't want to, you know, make the family feel bad or whatever. And our priest was saying, so now you're telling everybody that if you commit suicide, it's all right, you're going to heaven. So, high school kid commits suicide. All of this kid's friends go to Mass, and here's the priest talking about, oh, now his pain is over, and now he's in paradise and heaven, and, you know, and so if his friends are, you know, going through a rough time, they hear this and they say, he's in paradise now, his pain is over, maybe I'll do the same thing. So, what's worse? Now, by not having a funeral mass, that's not saying that they didn't go to heaven. God's mercy is beyond all understanding, so you don't know. I can't say what happens. I can say what the church teaches, and that more than likely that's what happens. You commit suicide, and you obviously that's a mortal sin. It's a sin against the Holy Ghost. So more than likely you're going to hell. Now, is it possible that somebody's mental health condition mitigates the eternal punishment? Maybe. But I don't want to stake my eternal salvation on a maybe. So, Priest had a interesting article, as he usually does, in this week's bulletin. Last few weeks he's been going over the traditional fasting and abstinence laws during Lent. And today his article was about what the new laws are. And the ridiculousness of Paul VI in changing all of it. To give a little recap, the old church laws during Lent, all during Lent, every day during Lent, was fast and abstinence. And by fasting, you could only have one meal, and it had to be after sunset. I believe on Sundays you could have 2 meals, but you still had to abstain from meat. And when I say abstain from meat, back then you couldn't have milk, you couldn't have cheese, you couldn't have, I don't think you could have eggs. It was anything that contained meat, and so it was really strict. I think back then they might have had an exception if you worked in hard labor, you could eat enough to keep your strength during the workday. So when Paul VI changed it, the reason he gave for changing it is that if we had the choice of what to give up or what to abstain from, then Catholics would do more severe penances. And you see where that's got us. The new law, only Ash Wednesday and Good Friday are fast and abstinence. The Fridays during Lent, you have to abstain from meat. And you can have the dairy products like cheese and milk and eggs and whatever. So it's basically nothing. And you see where that's gotten us. Even among a lot of traditional Catholics, we're not doing much. I mean, I try to do what I can. I've done, quote unquote, the minimum. But And like I've given up alcohol. I mean, that's, for me it's significant because I like my rum. So, and I do the abstinence from meat on all the Fridays during the year because that's what the church used to teach or used to prescribe. And so that's what I do. And actually, the new law did not abolish that. All the new law did is say that it is recommended that Fridays during the year you abstain from meat. However, if you want to eat meat, you can, but you have to substitute some other form of penance. And that's the part that people don't do. So, I guess Francis, the guy that's claiming to be the Pope, he said he's one step away from being a heretic. That is unbelievable for a so-called Pope of the church to say. Had a really interesting talk with my priest. This is going long, but this was interesting. The bishop of my diocese down here in Florida, before the present one, the bishop was a flaming homosexual. I mean, he would go with his boyfriend on trips to Michigan and wherever else they went. There was a whole scandal where, I think it was when they were remodeling the cathedral, he awarded a contract to his boyfriend that never had any real experience in construction. He was just new at it. And he'd give him millions of dollars in bonuses all over. And it didn't turn out that good. But so there was a big hubbub back when John Paul II was Pope. John Paul II's spokesman in the Vatican made a statement that said that homosexuality is such a grave sin that any priest that's a homosexuality is not really a priest or bishop or whatever. And my priest, he was what do you call it? Ordained. He was ordained by the homosexual pope, or not pope, bishop. uh, he had a acting bishop that before you get ordained a priest, a couple of years before, when you're still in the seminary, they ordain you as a deacon. So you're a deacon for a couple of years, and then if you graduate and everything, then you become a priest, get ordained a priest. So the acting bishop at that time was a really good guy, and a friend of my priest. And when that happened, when the statement was made about homosexuals not really being bishops or priests, his friend, the acting bishop, says, well, at least you know you're a legitimate deacon. But it's just sad the way things are. And then he almost didn't get ordained. This the homo bishop, my priest seminary professors told the bishop not to ordain him because he was too orthodox. And this was back when he was a liberal. My priest used to be a liberal. And back in the seminary, and he was too orthodox for them. But the thing is, the way he got through was my priest was in the first class that the bishop ordained when he became bishop, and there was only 2 of them. So he figured he can't really kick one of the priests out on the first class of ordination when there's only 2 of them. But the current bishop we have isn't much better. I don't think he's a homosexual, so I guess that's better. But they don't like him. And I'll leave you with this last story. A lot of the parishes around here sold out to the government and took the stimulus, I guess, whatever, loan or whatever. And the way it works is all the parishes, all the money they get through collections or whatever, masses being said, whatever, there's a tax that goes to the bishop. I don't know the percentage, whether it's 10%, 5%, whatever. So the bishop said all these parishes that took the government money has to pay his tax on it. So all the priests got together, and of course my priest is there, and they said, so we have a consensus that we're telling the bishop that we don't want to pay the tax, that we shouldn't have to pay the tax. My priest spoke up and said, no, you don't have a consensus. You guys took millions of dollars from the government that we didn't get. So if we have to pay a tax, on what little we got, and you get millions of dollars and don't pay any tax, then we're paying the taxes for you. So no, you don't. I don't agree with that. And oh boy, they didn't like him on that one. But he was right. I think he was right. So anyway, I've gone on long enough. So I will say good night. God bless you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.